Hi guys, Dr. Lena here. I'm a PhD in sociology if you're new, and I've been following US politics for 40 years. So I do have a bit of an opinion here and there. So for new people, welcome. But if you're a MAGAphile or in any way a Trump supporter, you'll hate this channel. And I'm sorry if you really think a pussy-grabbing, multiple bankrupt, convicted felon is the man for the job. I can't help you. I doubt there's any channels out there that can help. So moving right along, we're going to have a look at September in general terms. But before we do that, I want to talk for a minute about Texas. Oh my God. So Texas, I genuinely think Texas would already be purple if there wasn't election interference. Remember Beto. But they're going hard. So under that hideous Attorney General, what's his name, Paxton, they've been raiding the homes of Democratic activists, particularly Latino activists, including an 87-year-old woman. Just disgusting. But not stopping there. Over 1.1 million names have been taken off the electoral rolls in Texas just in the last couple of weeks. 1.1 million recently. And they always say they're doing this to preserve election integrity. Don't you love it? Oh, we're just checking for dead people, etc., etc. No, they're not. They're purging. And so it's really, 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 really important for anyone in red states to really encourage everyone to check their registration. And I hope that the National Dems also provide legal support. People need to know if they check and their name isn't there in that county, in that state, what is the quickest, most efficient way to correct that? So if you find out that information, you can share it online. There can be a hotline if you're deregistered. I think it should be in all these states. I hope that's happening. So as you can see from what I'm wearing, we're having a cold snap here where I live. We had the fake spring, all the flowers started to come out, and now they're in hiding again. So let's have a look here. We're going to have a look at September week by week. I know it's already the 3rd, sorry. I was held up firstly with a wedding, and then one of the grand dogs passed away, the 13-year-old pug. So there's a lot of people in mourning. So let's have a look here. I think I'll do each week and then put the cards back because we know if any cards recur, we've got to pay attention. So let's look at week 1, or what's left of week 1 in September. Oh, should we be surprised? Trump, aka the Yeti, has turned up in fine form. Okay, so there's a feeling here with this 5 of Pentacles. This, I'd imagine, is how MAGA people are feeling about now. Out in the cold, in the sense, I don't know how they're processing it, because they cannot be seriously listening to anything this man says. He talks in word salads and gobbledygook and can't string a sentence together, and he's left them now. If he cared about them, which he never did, but if he did, he'd be making more of an effort to be a team player, but he isn't. All he does is tell them the country is sick, the country's damaged, the country's gone to hell. It's all this doom and gloom. And before they could rally and say, but we know what's really going on. We've got our guy that can be. Now I think they're as exhausted as we all have been over the last 8 years. Nothing's changed. The guy in this image actually looks a bit like J.D. Vance in a moon boot, but let's not go there. So the Hierophant, I'm thrilled to report, is right next door to the Yeti. This is government, law and order, organised religion. You know, you've even got religious groups, not all of them, but coming out for Harris. But the important message here, I think, is this is court decisions. They are lining up now. Mushan seems to be going ahead with sentencing on the 18th. Don't get too excited. I'm sure it'll be suspended in some way. Love to be wrong. You know how much I love to be wrong. However, I think because this has turned up like this, I think it's going to be more than one thing, and there are more than one thing going on at this critical juncture legally. So Mashan's going to come out with something on the 16th as a prelude to the 18th. Tanya Chutkan, hopefully this month, September, this is talking about her. She's left to decide what is presidentially immune and what isn't, thanks to that terrible, not so Supreme Court ruling on immunity that has to be overturned before the country can move forward. But look, I think this is big, and I think it's multiples. The outcome for the first week, this is all kicking off in the first week. The 10 of Cups, I think it's normally my Republican card with fake happy families. It could be that. I digress. Did you see Elon Musk came out? He didn't say it was his idea. He's just saying there's a theory out there, but he's pushing it, which is we should end democracy and replace it with a group of high status males. What century are these guys residing in? Bring it on, keep saying it. Unspeakable. So this could either be Republicans pretending they've got happy families. Equally, just for a change, it could be a celebration of the rainbow family. There could be something significant coming on board in this first week of September. So I'm putting those cards back as we go to week 2. Now, I'm not focusing here much on weather events specifically, but of course, as always, be alert, be prepared. If you're prone to hurricanes or flooding or fires in your area, be prepared. Have those pet packs ready, have your spare batteries, have your water ready, have the car with petrol, have a plan. Okay, week 2, September. Week 2. Oh, Jack, how are you? All right, well, things here. Week 2 kicks off with the Magician card. And we know Jack Smith has been working very hard behind the scenes. He has now put in his paperwork for the next cycle of this psychotropic madness that is an Aileen Cannon court. I mean, you can't actually believe this woman is functioning at this level. Where's the 11th Circuit when you need them, please? But he's feeling quite good here in this. I think he knows that the witness testimony is in the bag. He's had to adjust the filing now. He's taken pages out of the original 90 pages. He's reduced it down so they can't argue about this, this, and this. And I think he's feeling it's actually stronger, better, neater. And he already knows not one but two grand juries have been convinced of the evidence. It's only Aileen Cannon who hasn't. Right? So he's there. Now, this can be a broken heart. It can be a stab in the heart if we're reading for personal romantic readings, but we're not. So it can be a card of miscommunication. Swords are communications, and sometimes they go through the emotional filter and they don't make sense. So I think there's massive miscommunication going on in week 2. This is beside this 9 of Cups. Often this is the smug merchant. So this could be some almost international law coming through that could impact people like the demonic Elon Musk. People at a very high level could actually be in for a bit of a shock in the second week of September, and very quick action here. This could be in the form of storm winds and things like that, or it could be quite a quick resolution to long-running conflicts. So although as a political watcher, I'm not sort of seeing a sudden end to Ukraine, a sudden end to the devastation in Gaza, I wouldn't rule out multiple sudden things happening all at the same time, week 2. So keep up your vitamin Bs, rest up. Week 2 is going to be full of shocks and surprises at the same time. All right, let's have a look here at week 3 for the USA. 3, week 3, September. It's not long, it's 67 days or something, isn't it? How exciting. Okay, what's happening in week 3? Let's have a look, see. All right, now, week 3 could be a financial shock of some sort. Hold on to your money. This could be a sort of exposure about Bitcoin. It could be, dare we hope, dare to dream, a collapse of Donald Trump media, things like this. I think a few things are going to take a dive in week 3, but I don't think it's going to impact so much on your average person because there's a degree of happiness here. I think this could be, this could be the aftermath of the debate. If the debate goes ahead, I'll ask that specifically in another video. I think people are very happy with where they stand with Kamala. Not so much on the other side. I think this is wounds and tussles. The GOP have painted themselves into this corner, right? They've insisted on going with the twice impeached horror show. It's too late to stop the train. They're just gathering injuries. They don't really know how to proceed. They're just one foot in front of the other. It's going to become very unclear for them, I think, for the GOP and MAGA by the end of week 3. The story is going to get harder and harder to defend. I think they're actually losing the plot. This is the card of mental health. I think if you've invested in this for 8 years or more and you suddenly see the writing on the wall, it's been hard enough for all of us on the other side of the fence. But for them, I think we're seeing barking at the moon. You know, there are these weird syndromes, like Jerusalem syndrome, for example. You know, Christians go to Jerusalem and are convinced they're part of the Passion of Christ and stuff. I think this is a MAGA delusion card or a GOP delusion card. Or, week 3, the Yeti could lose the plot entirely. We've seen endless permeations of this, but this could be a serious moment. Week 3. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, I don't know. Something's got to give in all this crazy, hasn't it? I mean, imagine when they did the scans after the shooting. You know, I'm sure the machines just picked up an empty cavity between those ears, you know. Oh, look. Week 4, September. Week 4, September. Biden bless. All right, the end of September. I think even though many people were upset with what happened with Joe, I think it was actually the best possible outcome for him as well. I think we're going to see more of him at the end of September because now he has a capable pair of hands at the tiller. He can get the time out he needs and then speak. I think this is speaking very emotionally to people at the end, last week of September. I think Biden's going to give a memorable speech in some context. Most of the country will be moving forward, thrilled, relieved, delighted, ecstatic that finally the Dems are live. The second tier Dems, have I not been saying for 5 years? The Dems have had huge talent in that second tier that they haven't let off the leash. And that's Pete Buttigieg and Swalwell and AOC and so many others, Katie Porter, so many. And now they're off the leash and away they go. This is how the Republicans are feeling at the end of September. They've started kicking over their own cups now. This is a real problem for them because with those 5 of cups, it's all about perception. There are actually 2 cups standing, but the person's focused on what they've lost. And so this is them. They're left supporting a guy who does nothing but run down the country as sick and dysfunctional. And it's a very perverse relationship with their own country that they're beginning to lament. At the end of week 4, a compromise. Now, that obviously rules out the GOP being referenced here. I think this is Dems and other groups coming to an agreement how to proceed with what will then be basically the last 5 or 6 weeks to the election. I think deals will be struck. Compromises will be made as these groups come on board, how much they're prepared to say to their voters and so on. So I think we'll see big legal things and expect it to be an emotionally charged month. But I see it as quite peaceful on some levels and then acute emotional moments. We'll see what happens. But first, I want to draw some cards for you guys for September. What you need to know, intrepid viewers, my dearest possums. Here's some takeaways for September. What do you need to maintain your well-being, energy, focus, enthusiasm? What do you need? Because sometimes we get bogged down. So here's a couple of cards for you guys. Oh, oh, wow. Now, I think we may have had this before. This is the card. You know what you need more of? More parties. Now, a party for you might only be 3 people, but it's better than nothing. It could be 50 people. It could be 1,000. Go for it. End of summer parties are actually good for you. You might have people over for dinner or you might go out, but this involves dancing, moving your body, experiencing the joy will help you cope. We just had this card in another context. Compromises will have to be made. That's probably for those of you who have rusted on GOP, relatives, partners, bosses, neighbours, work colleagues. Your joy is infectious. Lead with your joy. They have to deal with it. And dare I say it, trust the legal system with this justice card. Not the easiest thing in the world to do, is it? There's been so many setbacks. But I think trust the system, back the system, doesn't mean you can't criticise. Of course you can. If 5 million people had protested after January 6th when the Supreme Court first met, history could have had a different outcome. But it's saying at this point, at this late stage of the game, trust the system. Could it be that the 11th Circuit gets rid of the evil Aileen Cannon? Could that possibly be the case? Entertainment purposes only, YouTube. Look, it's good to be back. I'm back in my hometown and I am having a conflab tomorrow with Andre from Andre's Astrology. So keep a lookout for that. And I'll also be back on Hogarth this week. I don't know where in the world Hogarth is as we speak. He could be abseiling down the Grand Canyon. I've no idea. I'll have to get in touch with him. So take care, guys. And I'll see you on Andre's Astrology. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.